Okay, well, I don't know who's listening to this. I hope it's Lila, Brody, and Cedar. I hope it's their kids, and I don't know, maybe my own daughters. Who knows who might listen to this stuff. I just want to say I thank TJ for all the work to do this recording. Been wanting to do this for a long time. It's August 23rd, 2024. I'm 71. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm built to keep track of all this stuff. It's just kind of who I am as a loyalist, an Enneagram 6 loyalist approach at life to preserve things. I want to preserve legacy and memory. I'm trying to help you guys remember these people, our family. Their blood's in your veins. I just think it's right and meaningful, I hope. There's a couple other things to just catch up here. I'm going to take a segue from the storyline. We're going to New Jersey from Florida here. That's kind of where we're at. That happens on January 1st, 1984 is when we started officially at Jacksonville Chapel. So the Florida Bible College era to the Jacksonville Chapel era. But just a couple things I found. I mentioned Vicky's mom, Jackie Krotzer. By the way, her original maiden name was Smith. She was Jacqueline Smith. She married Vicky's dad, who I showed you in the wedding picture earlier, Edward Krotzer. That's Vicky's dad and the father of all of the siblings, Edward Krotzer. She became Jacqueline Krotzer. After her husband had passed some years, after a number of years, she remarried this guy. His name was Harold Smith. So she was Jacqueline Smith, Jacqueline Krotzer, Jacqueline Smith again. And Harold was a great guy, wonderful decision for that stage of her life. She had a lot of suffering in her life, dealt a lot of difficult cards to play. Harold brought a real fresh air into her life. He was into clowning. He was a Shriners guy, but he was into it for the clowning thing. He was Snuffy the Clown. Before that, he was Papa Smurf in the clown stuff, but actually he couldn't be Papa Smurf anymore. They actually got confronted for brand stuff with the Smurfs and all that. Like he wasn't sanctioned to be representing the Smurfs who were, anyway, whatever. So he became Snuffy the Clown. Harold was a fun guy. Vicky's, quote, stepdad, late in life. They RV'd all over the country. And actually, he died of a heart attack in Florida. They were based in St. Louis, but actually physically passed in Florida. And Rich had to go down there and drive the RV back. They brought his body. It was kind of a mess. But I was able to do his funeral as well. I spoke at Harold's funeral. I officiated his funeral. I officiated Jackie's funeral. I officiated my father's funeral. I officiated my mother's funeral. And I've just got kind of a lineup of funerals that I do.
Who's going to officiate your funeral?
Maybe you.
I don't think I'm allowed to.
I don't know. Well, we can do whatever we want. I'll write instructions. I'm thinking of preaching my own funeral, actually. I'm going to have you video my funeral.
Yeah, we'll record it and then play it.
We might as well record and play it because I'm the best speaker, so I want the best speaker at my funeral. Anyway,
that probably would be funny. You should put together do one of your little slideshows that we play at your service.
Trust me, I've thought about it, and it would be surreal, right? People think, how could you speak at your own funeral? Anyway, we'll see. Well, I'm going to do a segment here that's mostly focused on my dad, Angelo Ingrassia, and his dad, Sam Ingrassia, or Salvatore Ingrassia. And I hope there's some lesson in here. But just to pick up, I'm talking about these people. That reminds me. I got to get another picture. Just 1 second. Don't turn it off. I need this picture. So here's a picture of my mom and dad with me. Remember, firstborn? I'm a baby here. I mean, I'm less than 1 year old for sure. That means my mom's like 19 in this picture. He's like 21. You see how he's dressed? Well, he was in the Air Force. And he was a meat cutter in the Air Force. Like I said, he was always a meat cutter, and I think he got certified or learned more through doing it there. And then this is a pretty handsome picture of my dad here, same as his Air Force uniform. And because he served in the military service, actually when he passed away then, they presented this flag to us at the Sacred Heart Cemetery outside of DuQuoin, where he's buried, where my mom and all that Licata side of the family are buried. And then I had the privilege of getting this as oldest son as a memory. So that's the flag. If you're a veteran, the United States government presents a flag to the family, and that was my dad's. And then my mom had it put in this nice case, so I'm proud to have that in my home office. When they got married, which would have been 1952 in the fall. In fact, I'm going to be on here. Angelo, Mary Ingrassia. This is a wedding. We're united in holy matrimony according to the ordinance of God and the laws of the state of Illinois on October 11th. So this is their wedding certificate. Reverend Hafner, he was the priest there at Sacred Heart, DuQuoin, Illinois. The witnesses were Jack Russo and Vita Licata. Yeah, so there you go. That's a wedding certificate. And then at some point, my mom had taken their wedding album, look at this, and put together a little booklet of just some of the key pictures. Yeah, so there's the date. There's my dad getting ready, mom getting ready, October 11th, 1952. That's Francie, her friend, and this is Cookie. Okay, so in this picture, Cookie's like 7. She's like 7 years old. That was my dad's sister. So she was one of the little bridesmaids. That's Catherine, his first cousin. I mentioned in a video she was killed at 29 years old in that tragic car accident with Frida and Tony Bono. Her parents survived it. This was a dramatic tragedy in the family. And hey, there's my grandpa. It's Antonio Licata. Your father, Tony, was named after him. But once again, they altered a little bit. See, my grandpa was Salvatore. I became Sam. He was Sam. Antonio was his real name, but they went and named your dad Tony after him, but they didn't go Antonio. So I don't know if they wanted to be more American or what the deal was. A lot of that was happening in this era. I wish they'd have taught us Italian. They all spoke Italian. They had no vision for that, zero vision, because they were becoming Americans. They wanted to speak English. This is Sacred Heart Church, DuQuoin Catholic Church. I spoke there at Uncle Jack's funeral. Look at that. Coming out, the kiss. Okay, that's my great-grandparents. That's Nanna's parents. That's Leo Pizzolato and Leonarda.
Man, he was a little guy. He was shorter than she was, and she was little.
And she was kind of a big woman, Big Nonna. That's what we called her, Big Nonna. And he was a little guy. Soft-spoken, quiet guy, man. He never said 2 words. I don't know if he spoke too much English, honest with you. And then here's the wedding party. And you know what they had room? Do you recognize the room?
Is that the...
That's the dining room at Nana's house.
Oh, wow.
You see the archway?
Yeah.
So they literally had this... They got married in DuQuoin. Then they had some kind of a dinner here. And then they went to St. Louis for the dance reception with dancing and all that stuff. So here's Cookie. That's Grandpa Ingrassia. Look at him. Man, does he look like Robert De Niro or what? You know, that vintage. There's Grandma. There's Nonna. Oh my gosh. Look at these guys. They look like stereotypical Italians. You know why? They were Italians. Yep. That's right there at Nonna's house. Then they went out to the fairgrounds, the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds, and that's where they took their pictures, wedding pictures. And you see this archway over this part of the lake right here. We've been there many times. And the last time we went with Meemaw to the fair a few years ago, 2018 or 19 maybe it was. I went up there and we went to the fair and we took a picture on this very same bridge with Mima in the middle, with everybody who went to the fair, all their kids, and I don't know, a couple of the grandkids were there. Here she was the maid of honor. That same bridge, we took pictures. Here she's like 19 in this picture. The next time we took it was, she was like 85 or something, 84, 85. Be sure of one thing, life's moving forward. You can't stop it. Cake and dancing. Now this was back in St. Louis now. And then that's off to the honeymoon, which means I'm about to be conceived. I'm telling you, I'm like exactly 9 months from this date virtually, like within a week. So something like that. And then here was a wedding certificate. That's all in my mom's handwriting. So she filled all that out.
So you know what that means? If you go back to that picture of them waving.
Yeah.
You're in that picture. Half of you's in there and half of you's in there.
Oh.
But yeah, you're in that photo.
I'm in that photo, right? Yeah, half and half. Well, I got put together within a week. So that's a fun little piece, and I'm very, very happy my mother gave that to us. So later in life, this is Grandpa Ingrassia Peepaw visiting us at the Serenade Lane house. It's taken out by the pool. Handsome guy. My dad was always a good-looking guy. And then
was he wearing a suit? Going to church?
It was
probably?
Easter. They came down. It was Easter. This picture is my mom. This is the picture we used at her funeral. This is the one she wanted to use. I took this picture. And this was taken at Julie's house at Stephanie and Brian's baby shower for Lila. We came up, Lila, we had a baby shower for you in St. Louis. Your mom and dad came up there, St. Louis people went, a bunch of gifts for you and them. Took this picture of me, Mom. This is the picture we used at her funeral in 2020. But if you look carefully at the picture, look what you see.
Peepaw's over her.
Peepaw's there. And my mom had noticed that. And that was also a picture I had taken. And it was at this same Easter, took the picture of them together. And it's framed on Julie's desk right there. But it was framed over her shoulder in such a way that Peepaw was right there looking over her shoulder. And I remember her seeing that picture one time and going, "Oh, yeah, look, Dad was right there." Looking over our shoulder. So that's kind of a fun picture that way. This was my dad's Baby Ben West clock, alarm clock. I got this in my office. This is a wind-up clock. When this rings, it don't wake you up, it wakes up the dead. It's like, brrr, just a Baby Ben alarm. This goes back into the 50s. This clock's like 70-something years old, for sure. Okay, and then this isn't an old piece, but this is something my mom, a little bird my mom had on her desk or something, and I got that. So this is the kind of things I've got scattered all over my office of memorabilia that I just wanted to show you, and it could be some of you guys have this stuff by now, I don't know. One more thing. So my dad died of a heart attack April 22nd, 2002, opening day of turkey season. He'd shot a turkey that morning. You, TJ, and your father were hunting turkey that morning.
I shot a turkey that morning.
You shot a turkey that morning. How about that? And you guys were at your property, Dad's property up in Macon. Peepaw would have been hunting with you guys, but because they were in a falling out time, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about now. There was a falling out between my dad and his dad, and unfortunately because of that, then they're related in some ways, as there was a falling out in the next generation of my dad then and his sons. Not me so much, but with the other two, Stephen and Tony. And you guys were turkey on that day alone because he could have been with you and wasn't. But he got a turkey that morning, and you got a turkey that morning. And the day my dad died, then we got all this memorabilia. Look at this stuff. This stuff in this little plastic bag. This was my dad's wallet. Okay, the day he passed, he had this wallet. I ain't gonna go through all this, but man, he had pictures in his wallet, just the way it used to be. Picture of my mom when she was young, and there's family pictures of everybody in here, you know. So there's my young family. So the pictures are still in there, and all different little things I could show you. That's his original Social Security card, you know. Anyway, his comb. You say, why do you keep that stuff? I don't know. I just have to keep it. You know, yeah. This was like no amount of money you'd make me just like throw that in the trash. I couldn't do it. It's kind of crazy, right? One more thing, in terms of family, I told you about in an earlier video that on my mom's side of the family, when she was only 2 years old, those 2 boys died in that train accident in DuQuoin. They got hit by that train. This is an envelope my mom had given me with this penny in it. This penny is, you know, I don't know if do you actually see this? It's like a little warped, like it's not just pristine.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a little bent, like, and it has the date 1928 on it, 1928. And it says on the envelope here, but it has a question mark. It says pennies from boys train accident. And my mom told me that this would pass down, and she believed that that penny was in one of those boys' pockets the day they got killed in that family tragedy, which would have been 1935. My mom was born in 1933. Those boys were killed when she was 2 years old. She said she can barely remember the older basketball star guy. Their names just escape me. I'm sorry for that. But she said she can remember him bouncing around on his shoulders. You know, she was a little kid, and that penny might have been on one of their pockets that tragic day.